Time for the Tesla and Palantir weekly update. Going to start with Tesla as usual here. And what do we see on this beautiful chart? Well, it is all-time high, weekly candle close. Never seen this high ever before in the history of Tesla. So that's at 436.23. That's what it closed at, right? And then post-market it is down a little bit. So where is support? Well, support can be found either by backtesting the previous all-time high, 414, or we could put up some daily chart price action just to see what's going on with the Ichimoku right there. We can see that, well, you can't even use that, right? Because daily price action is maybe 392.25. It's even below that. So what about 4-hour price action? Can we do that one? 4-hour? Yeah, we can use the 4-hour for the time being because the reason why we can use it is because it's just riding up the conversion line as support all the way. So right now we can see that the conversion line on the 4-hour is 425.80. So as long as it maintains this, it's not going to go back down to back test the previous all-time high. But if it ever starts to close weekly candles below that 425.80, then there's a possibility to back test that. So with that being said, where is the next resistance, right? I mean, is it just going to melt up all the way to the 1.272 Fibonacci extension up there at 607? Or if you go to the linear scale, that would be the 1.272 at 499.58. Which one would it be? I mean, it could go up to the 500. It really could, right? We've seen very explosive moves for Tesla in the past, so that's a very good possibility. But what I think is likely for Tesla is what I'm going to do is just draw a trend-based fib for you guys. And I'm going to just draw it from the low to the high here and then drag it down. So this trend-based fib is pretty accurate because you can see all these retrace levels were once a support here, a resistance, a support, a resistance, right? And then it did stop out at the one level, the 336.28. It did get rejected there initially, and then it back tested a couple of weeks before going higher. So what I really see before any kind of pullback is maybe 458.33, the 1.618 trend-based fib extension. So this is looking really good. And then after that, you got the 655 and the 800s and stuff like that. But it's not going to go up in a straight line, even though everything is super exciting right now. So what we're seeing is a range right now, 425 up to 458. This is going to be our new range. And until one of those breaks, then we're not going to go back down and retest the previous all-time highs. And we're not going to go up to the 5 or 600. So 458.33, that's our next resistance. And the 425 is our support. And even a back test of the previous all-time highs is still possible. And next I wanted to show you my linear scale again, just to give you a little bit more confluence of maybe around that 458, 460 zone as a possible resistance. And we're going to see this next level up here, which is your 45-degree angle. And right there, it sits around like 466, 467, maybe next week. So this is a little bit of a confluence of that area, right? Because we know things like to wick above levels all the time. So maybe that 458 trend-based fib that I showed you, maybe it would just want to wick above, get to the 466, 469, 470 zone, get really people very excited, and then maybe it would just close back below and then start to retrace a little bit. So this is just extra confluence of being a little bit cautious, being a little bit careful around that 460 zone. So that's what I think is the next resistance. But this is very, very bullish still. And I'm going to pull up the Bollinger Bands next. And we can see that the top of the Bollinger Band is right there at 401. And that's still below the all-time highs. So it's still expanding. It's still riding this as support 1 week at a time. And it started here in November 4th. It just started riding it up and up and up and up until maybe it gets to here, right? So, and we see Bollinger Band expansion. So this is a good thing. So we cannot assume it's going to go lower until it loses the top part of this Bollinger Band as support. So far it's just riding it nicely, and the trend is your friend until it's not. And next is Palantir. So Palantir, I'm going to show the log-based fib first because that 78.13 right there did get rejected as resistance. So is it all over for Palantir now? Can we expect some kind of massive sell-off for Palantir right now? No, I don't think so. I think what just happened this week, it explains it on the linear scale fibs right here, and all it did is go back down to retest the 69.15, and that was a perfect back test, and it even wicked through. It scared so many people, but I was telling people on my Patreon that this is support, and some people were buying it. Right, this is support right here. Is the 69.15, and now on linear scale, this has the potential now to build a base on top of this $69 level week after week until it's ready to go to the 90s and 100s above. So we do see the log scale got rejected. So until it can get above 78.13, it might be stuck for a little bit. But where is it going to get stuck? Well, it could just get stuck on top of this $69 range and just build a base. And that's not a bearish thing at all because we had an explosive move. So some cooling off could be in order. And lastly, I'm just going to show you this log scale GAN that I created. So since that switched to the NASDAQ, I had to draw a new one because TradingView erased my chart. So what does that mean? Well, I had to rescale it too. And my rescale was essentially the new level that I see, the minimum price target for Palantir is around $133, 134, that blue line up there. So essentially all I see is whether or not it needs to retrace, it's just going to probably trend closer and closer to this blue angle, right, over time. And it's probably just going to eventually touch it one day and then go towards the blue level. And then this is going to be probably a big resistance. And if this breaks as resistance and flips to support, then it's going to be possible to go to the 200s and even beyond. So this has potential to go much, much higher, maybe even up here to the 500s, right? But it all depends on this 134 level. So if this 134 ever becomes support again, or again, like it never has, if it ever becomes support in the future and not resistance, then the possibility to go much higher is there. But in the meantime, this is the trajectory for it. I think there could be some retests, but I think currently $69 is your support. So for those that think it's just going to crash, I say think again because this is a very, very powerful uptrend.